A perfectly cooked steak is a thing of beauty. Juicy, flavorful, and cooked to perfection, it's a meal that can impress anyone. Mastering the art of steak takes a bit of practice, but don't worry, it's not as hard as you think. With the right techniques, anyone can cook an amazing steak at home. In just 8 minutes, you can have a restaurant-quality meal that will have everyone asking for seconds. Get ready to wow your family and friends with your newfound steak skills. This guide will take you through each step. We'll cover everything from choosing the right cut of meat to the importance of letting your steak rest. Follow these tips and you'll be well on your way to becoming a true steak master. Before you even think about firing up the pan, we need to talk about temperature. Letting your steak come to room temperature is crucial for achieving even cooking. This step is often overlooked, but it makes a world of difference in the final result. When a cold steak hits a hot pan, the muscle fibers tighten up. This results in uneven cooking, with the outside overcooked and the inside potentially undercooked. Nobody wants a tough, chewy steak. By bringing your steak to room temperature, you're allowing the muscle fibers to relax. This ensures that the heat will penetrate the meat evenly, resulting in a perfectly cooked steak from edge to edge. Aim for about 30 minutes to an hour of resting time before cooking. Now that we've got the temperature sorted, let's talk about choosing the right cut of meat. Not all steaks are created equal. Some cuts are naturally more tender and flavorful than others. For a quick and easy 8-minute steak, opt for a cut that cooks quickly and evenly. Ribeye and filet mignon are excellent choices. They are known for their rich flavor and tender texture. Ribeye, with its marbling of fat, is a favorite for its juiciness and bold flavor. Filet mignon, on the other hand, is leaner yet incredibly tender, offering a melt-in-your-mouth experience. These cuts are well marbled, meaning they have a good amount of intramuscular fat. This fat renders during cooking, basting the meat from the inside out and adding tons of flavor and juiciness. Section 4. The Art of Seasoning. Seasoning your steak properly might seem like a small detail, but it can make or break the final dish. The right balance of salt and pepper can elevate the flavors, making each bite a delightful experience. It's not just about adding taste, it's about enhancing the natural essence of the meat. Don't be shy with the salt and pepper. They are key to enhancing the natural flavor of the meat. A well-seasoned steak can transform a simple meal into a gourmet experience. The salt and pepper should be evenly distributed to ensure every bite is flavorful. Salt has the power to draw out moisture from the steak, which might seem counterintuitive. However, this process is essential for creating a delicious crust. The moisture drawn out by the salt helps in caramelizing the surface of the steak, giving it that perfect sear. However, this process actually helps the steak develop a beautiful crust when it hits the hot pan. The crust not only adds texture but also locks in the juices, ensuring a tender and juicy steak. The Maillard reaction, which occurs during this process, is what gives the steak its rich, complex flavors. For best results, salt your steak generously on both sides at least 40 minutes before cooking. This allows the salt to penetrate the meat, enhancing its flavor from the inside out. The longer the salt has to work, the more flavorful and tender the steak will be. This will give the salt enough time to work its magic. As the steak rests, the salt dissolves and is absorbed into the meat, breaking down proteins and making the steak more tender. This resting period is crucial for achieving the perfect texture and flavor. Pepper, on the other hand, is best added right before cooking. This ensures that the pepper retains its robust flavor and doesn't burn during the cooking process. Freshly ground black pepper adds a spicy kick that complements the savory taste of the steak. This prevents the peppercorns from burning in the pan and developing a bitter flavor. Burnt pepper can ruin the taste of your steak, so it's important to add it at the right time. The heat of the pan will release the essential oils in the pepper, enhancing its flavor. Use freshly ground black pepper for a more robust flavor. Pre-ground pepper can lose its potency over time, so grinding it fresh ensures you get the most out of its aromatic qualities. The combination of freshly ground pepper and properly salted steak creates a symphony of flavors that is hard to beat. Section 5. The Hot Seat. The key to a perfectly seared steak is high heat. A screaming hot pan creates that beautiful brown crust we all know and love, sealing in the juices and creating a depth of flavor that's simply irresistible. This is where your heavy-based pan comes into play. Cast iron skillets are fantastic for cooking steaks because they retain heat exceptionally well. Preheat your pan over high heat for at least 5 minutes before adding your steak. You'll know it's ready when a few drops of water sizzle and evaporate immediately upon contact. Adding oil to the pan is also crucial. Use an oil with a high smoke point such as avocado oil or grapeseed oil. This will prevent the oil from burning and imparting an unpleasant flavor to your steak. Section 6. Searing and basting. The Dance of Flavor. Now comes the fun part, searing and basting. This is where the magic happens, transforming a simple piece of meat into a culinary masterpiece. Gently lay your steak in the center of the hot pan and let it sizzle undisturbed for 3 to 4 minutes. The initial contact with the hot surface is crucial as it starts the Maillard reaction, which is responsible for the complex flavors and aromas. Avoid the temptation to move it around. We want to create those beautiful sear marks that are a hallmark of a perfectly cooked steak. These marks are not just for aesthetics, they signify the development of deep, savory flavors. Once you've achieved a golden brown crust on one side, flip the steak and repeat on the other side. This crust is essential as it locks in the juices, ensuring that each bite is tender and flavorful. The key is to sear quickly and evenly, creating a crust that locks in all the juices. A well-seared steak will have a rich, caramelized exterior and a juicy, tender interior. In the last couple of minutes of cooking, add a knob of butter, some crushed garlic cloves, and a sprig of thyme to the pan. The butter will melt and combine with the garlic and thyme, creating a fragrant, flavorful basting liquid. As the butter melts, tilt the pan and use a spoon to baste the steak with the fragrant, flavor-packed mixture. This technique, known as arroser in French, helps to keep the steak moist and infuses it with additional layers of flavor. This will add another layer of richness and flavor to your steak. The combination of the seared crust and the aromatic basting liquid will elevate your steak to new heights, making it a truly unforgettable dish. Section 7. The Patience of Rest. You're almost there. Once your steak is cooked to your liking, resist the urge to dig in right away. It might be tempting to cut into that perfectly seared piece of meat, but patience is key to achieving the best results. Resting the steak is just as important as any other step in the process. Allowing the steak to rest for 5 to 10 minutes before slicing allows the juices to redistribute throughout the meat. This simple step can make a world of difference in the final texture and flavor of your steak. During cooking, the muscle fibers in the steak contract, pushing the juices towards the center. This is a natural reaction to the heat, and it's what helps create that delicious, juicy interior we all crave. Cutting into the steak too soon will cause those precious juices to spill out onto the cutting board, leaving you with a dry and less flavorful steak. Imagine all that hard work going to waste just because you couldn't wait a few more minutes. By letting it rest, you give the muscle fibers time to relax and reabsorb those juices. This not only enhances the flavor but also ensures that each bite is as tender and succulent as possible. This results in a more tender, juicy, and flavorful steak. The difference is noticeable, and you'll appreciate the extra effort when you take that first bite. Tent the steak loosely with foil to keep it warm while it rests. This helps maintain the temperature without causing the steak to steam, which can affect the texture. Remember, good things come to those who wait, and in this case, a perfectly rested steak is your reward.